The suppressor is a controversial tool that is used in the firearms world. The anti-gun crowd despises them, meanwhile the pro-gun community preaches the added benefits of using one. Though there is a lot of controversy that surrounds the suppressor, there are a few questions that we often ponder. What is the history behind the suppressor? How do they actually work? And should they really be called a suppressor, or as some call it, a silencer? This is the simplified history of the suppressor. To many people's surprise, the suppressor's success owes its popularity to the inventor of the Maxim machine gun, Sir Hiram Stevens Maxim. Though Hiram Maxim is renowned for inventing the first ever portable fully automatic machine gun, him and his wife also helped to create an important figure in the firearms world, Hiram Percy Maxim. Percy, as we will call him, was the inventor of the first ever commercially successful firearm silencer in 1902. Now more on the name silencer later in the video. There were two firearm silencer patents that were filed prior to Percy's during the 1890s by the Swiss inventors Jacob Stahl in 1892 and C.A. Epley in 1894. Jacob's patent was primarily designed to be used for euthanizing cattle. These silencers, however, did not achieve significant success on the market like Hiram Percy Maxim's silencer did. During the very early stages of the 1900s, designers from all over the world were toying with the idea of mufflers for internal combustion engines. Percy would take the concept of the internal combustion engine muffler and would apply it to firearms. This is where the suppressor, or the silencer, was born. Percy Maxim would then trademark the name Maxim Silencer, and with his new generated success, Percy would found his own company, Maxim Silencers Incorporated, in the year 1912. His company also manufactured silencers for internal combustion engines as well as silencers for firearms. Maxim silencers were advertised towards being used primarily for hunting and sport shooting. At the time, most militaries thought that the silencer was just a gimmick and that it was of no use on the battlefield. Though Theodore Roosevelt, the 26th President of the United States, and also a much-loved conservationalist, would use Maxim suppressors while hunting, especially when hunting during the early morning. During one hunting exhibition of Teddy Roosevelt's, he would bring with him a Springfield 1903 and a Winchester 1894 carbine that were both suppressed. The first major use of the silencer by a military force was during World War II. During World War II, the British SOE, Special Operations Executive, and British Commandos would come to use the legendary De Lisle carbine and the Welrod pistol. The De Lisle carbine was a bolt-action rifle chambered in .45 ACP that was based off a Lee Enfield No. 1 Mark III rifle. The rifle utilised the magazine from a 1911 handgun and it was integrally suppressed. The Welrod was a bolt-action, integrally suppressed 9mm handgun that had a magazine capacity of 6 rounds. The United States Office of Strategic Services also used suppressed weapons on occasion during World War II, namely the high standard HDM blowback semi-automatic handgun that was chambered in the .22 long rifle cartridge. The HDM would also be used after World War II during the Cold War by members of the CIA. However, in the years after World War II, the world of suppressors sort of went stagnant. This is primarily due to the 1934 National Firearms Act that was implemented in the United States of America. The act put in place the $200 tax stamp on the purchase of a suppressor, which equivalates to over $3,500 US for adjustment to inflation. Today, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco and Firearms administrates and regulates suppressors. You must go through an application process through the ATF in order to obtain a suppressor in the USA. Due to the $200 tax stamp and heavy restrictions on suppressors in the USA, firearms manufacturers slowed down the innovation of suppressors, especially for the civilian market at that time. During the Cold War though, militaries across the world did continue to develop suppressor technology, primarily for various commando, special forces and secret service agencies. One of the most notable suppressed firearms developed during the Cold War was the MP5SD. The MP5SD is an integrally suppressed 9mm submachine gun that is manufactured by Heckler & Koch. It is a variant of the notorious MP5 submachine gun. This firearm has been used by various special forces all over the world, and most notably by the British SAS during the Iranian embassy siege in the UK. In the modern era of the suppressor, not much has changed apart from materials used to make the suppressor. One major advancement that has come in the 21st century is the development of the shotgun suppressor. In the 2010s, the shotgun suppressor was first put onto the market. These suppressors were originally thought of being too difficult to manufacture due to the nature of shotgun projectiles spreading when shot. However, innovation came through and now they are apparently a thing. A common misconception that is pushed primarily by cinema and the media is the belief that the suppressor completely diminishes the sound of a gunshot. This is completely false, especially if you are using a large cartridge that breaks the sound barrier. A smaller cartridge that does not break the sound barrier can nearly achieve the acclaimed thonk sound that is portrayed in Hollywood, but a vast majority of cartridges will still have a loud crack when the round is shot, especially if the round is a supersonic cartridge. The suppressor will only eliminate the sound of the explosion within the firearm when the round is shot, but it will not eliminate the sound of the projectile breaking the sound barrier. The suppressor quietens the sound of the gunshot by having baffles within the suppressor. These baffles force the sound waves to bounce around within the suppressor, so when the projectile finally exits the suppressor, the sound waves are weakened and are quieter than a shot without a suppressor. Suppressors have now long been used for hunting and sports shooting. Also a nice fact, the two main negatives for using a suppressor are just added weight and added length, but these are typically balanced out with lesser noise and even high velocity, and you can also add lower recoil. But you may only get an extra 10 to 60 feet per second extra velocity with a suppressor. Contrary to what Call of Duty will tell you, suppressors also do not shorten the range of a firearm, and nor do they reduce the acclaimed damage. However, most importantly, should they be called a suppressor or a silencer? Now, a suppressor only suppresses the sound of a gunshot. It does not silence the sound completely from a gunshot. This is especially true of semi-automatic firearms, where gases also escape rearward when the firearm is shot. But when you go back in time to when Percy Maxim filed the patent for a suppressor, you'll notice that he actually called it a silencer. So maybe we should just call it a silencer. Personally, however, I do not care what you call it, suppressor or silencer, they both mean the same thing. So that is the simplified history of the suppressor or the silencer, whatever you want to call it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do like this video, do subscribe and let me know in the comments if I should do more videos like this, and also give me a topic idea. Once again, thank you for watching, and goodbye. The links to the videos that I have made on most of the firearms you have seen in this video will be in the description below. Thank you.